On the news tonight, national security tops agenda as National Assembly resumes plenary.
So we will discuss the issue of recruitment, because I believe that the security operatives are as good as their training.
We acknowledge the need for renewed investment in security intelligence.
ECOWAS Parliament moves to address air travel fare within the region.
Together, let us commit ourselves to working towards a more efficient regional aviation system, serving integration and development.
All lawmakers announced defection from political parties.
By this action, the membership of the Delta State House of Assembly is now 100% APC.
A very warm welcome to Parliamentary news from Nigeria's capital city, the FCT. I am Stella Inameti. The Senate has resolved to organize a national security summit involving delegates from all tiers of government, traditional institutions, civil society organizations, security experts, and other Nigerians to find solution to this challenge of insecurity in the country. The Committee on Finance also laid its report on the tax reform bills for consideration and passage as plenary resumes after weeks of break. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Resuming plenary with renewed energy, the lawmakers wasted no time in adopting resolutions, among which is the convening of a fact-finding national security summit, as requested by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim and 3 others in a motion calling for a way out of the current security situation, which is becoming a threat to the economy.
No country will allow a citizen to understand security by living with insecurity. We must eradicate insecurity. Therefore, the ideology of peace for all, as outlined in the executive policy of the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, should be opened and be promoted.
Another very important issue is to have a state police.
We have attempted various forms in terms of solutions, and they have not given the desired results. There is nothing that stops us from continuing to explore all means.
So we will discuss the issue of recruitment, because I believe that the security operatives are as good as their training. We also have to look at the strength of the fighting forces in the country. Are they sufficient to combat the rising insecurity?
Also adopted is the motion from Senator Kawu Sumaila on the killing of travelers in Uromi, Edo State, and that of Senator Anthony Siakayaru in relation to the tragic Easter Monday incident in Bileri, Gombe State, which left scores dead.
Encourages the governor of Edo to expedite the ongoing investigation, ensure the prosecution of those found culpable, and facilitate prompt payment of adequate compensation for the brave families.
There's a bill before us which is intended to regulate the affairs of hunters. You have hunters in every part of the world. You have hunters. So I think there's a need we pass that bill so that we can regulate their affairs. If you are moving from one state to the other state to hunt, there should be an arrangement where you'll be identified.
Urge the Nigerian Police and the Federal Road Safety Commission, as well as other relevant security agencies, to provide adequate security and ensure strict adherence to road safety measures to forestall future occurrence whenever such major events are taking place across the country.
A minute silence was observed for the victims. Senate is set to pass the tax reform bills as the Committee on Finance laid the report for consideration. Senate has, in the meantime, set up an ad hoc committee chaired by the Senate leader, Ukpeyemi Bamidele, to oversight the activities of the sole administrator of Rivers State. President of the Senate, while welcoming members of the Red Chamber from the 5 weeks of break, reaffirmed the commitments of lawmakers to support the executive on reforms in the economic, security, education, and other sectors for the peace and progress of Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has passed a resolution to investigate the resurgence of terrorist activities in the northeast geopolitical zone and other parts of the country. The House also received the 2025 Federal Capital Territory budget proposal of 1.78 trillion naira transmitted by President Bola Tinubu. National Assembly correspondent Michaire Ikpen reports.
To serve Nigeria with
lawmakers resume plenary with renewed vigor to legislate on critical issues affecting Nigerians. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas indicates that the coming weeks will be busy as the House accelerates action on constitution review, concurrence with Senate on tax reform bills, flood emergency preparedness, and oversight of the state of emergency in Rivers State. There was a resolution for decisive military onslaught against terrorist activities in the northeast.
To investigate the cause of fire incident at Giwa Barracks, Amod, and report back to the House for immediate action.
This is unacceptable, Mr. Speaker. We must stand up and find a way of bringing this issue of insecurity to order.
We don't have enough personnel in these communities. If you go to Kalabalge, we have a handful of them. It is the civilian JTF and the hunters and the rest that are complementing the airport.
We lost so many constituents because Boko Haram is using armed drones. Let it be on record. They are using armed drones, weaponized drones, which the Nigerian army is not using.
The House unequivocally condemns these attacks on innocent citizens. We acknowledge the need for renewed investment in security intelligence.
The Federal Capital Territory's 2025 budget proposal of 1.78 trillion naira submitted by President Tinubu targets completion of ongoing projects and provision of social amenities for the territory's swelling population.
The 2025 FCT budget proposal prioritizes investment in healthcare services, job creation, youth empowerment, social welfare services, education, infrastructure, as well as increasing productivity in agriculture.
The House witnessed another round of defections as 6 lawmakers from Delta State announced resignation from the PDP to join the APC, while 2 Labour Party lawmakers from Enugu State also defected to the PDP. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And to speak more on the legislative business, as the National Assembly has resumed plenary, is Representative Paul Namchi, who represents Enugu East and Isiuzo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives. Welcome to Parliamentary News. How much of engagement did lawmakers have during the break, and how will the interface with constituents be brought to bear in the legislative business now that plenary has commenced?
And during the break, I've gone home, not just to watch the people, but also to assure them that we're not just here to legislate, but also to change the national narratives and also the national character. Because our duty is also to legislate, but also to come back to what our people need. In this case, our legislation, it should be about sincerity, visibility, and impact. And going home to look at the people makes it imperative that you've seen them, you've known their needs, what are the things that have not been taken care of. You want to come back beyond political posturing. You want to come back to know that it is not really that history is watching us, but the people are also seeing us. So we want to, I believe that we are coming back, we should be coming back not just for the normal passage of bills and motions, but also to the national conscience. To know that the people deserves more than just posturing, political posturing, but also to move further to know that the people are asking.
What are the dominant issues to legislate upon this time around?
It is in 2 ways. You ask the people, you get the mood of the people. But also I want to say that mostly what people are interested is to see that their electoral laws improve beyond the normal. Because when you have good election, you also have good leadership. So they are looking at that one, but also they are alongside those ones that will put food on the table. Well, along for those first ones, but how do we improve and get those things done on time before the new election starts, election year starts? This is also part of the things that are quite germane in the current legislative term. And I also believe that the will is there. And I'm thinking that the way is also going to be there.
And let's ask, what will be your own priorities as a legislator?
Well, I've done a lot of motions and bills, but I also want to say that there are some that have reached a certain stage that I expect the complete passage or complete passage leading to assent, like the University of Agriculture bill, the movement of upgrading of a harmful college of education to a university, on which the people from East, they established at the same time, also already a university. That should be also be in the mind. I also moved that to get to that level. I also moved, on a general note, to have for we to have a dry port in MNA in Enugu State, and to serve the people of Eastern Nigeria. That's paramount. Also, but above all, I also made mention of I proposed 2 bills for seaports, that of Oguta Lake Seaport, and another one in Osaku Seaport in Anambra State. This will also give improve the commercial nerve and also improve the economy of the country, and reduce the congestion we have already in seaports in Lagos and Port Harcourt. That will be a very national income, increase national income, but also diversify what we're actually doing in those ports now.
Should we anticipate more defections?
More defections? Those are personal, and I wouldn't want to go into that because I'm not in people's conscience. The trend is there, but the trend is that it should be a partnership for progress. And it's not rubber stamp, but partnership for progress. It wouldn't pay when they say 2 elephant fights, the grass suffer. And that's, in this case, the people that will be the grass. So we want the 2 arms of government to also work together for the progress of the people of this country, to improve their life, to ensure visibility, but impact. Let us see what democracy is all about. Democracy is all about providing for the people and people being happy at what the government are doing for them.
Thank you for coming on the news, Honorable. And talking about defections, Senator representing Kano South Abdurrahman Kawu Somaila has defected from the new Nigeria People's Party to the All Progressives Congress APC. The notice of his defection was read at plenary Wednesday by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. Reasons for the defection, as contained in the letter, was due to the ongoing multiple crises within the NNPP, which prompted him to join the Progressives to better serve his constituents. 22 lawmakers of the Delta State House of Assembly, including the Speaker, Imomotimi Guo, have officially resigned from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the ruling party, All Progressives Congress, APC. Godfrey Nzekwe reports.
Announcing the defection, the Speaker, Imomotimi Guo, stated that the defection is hinged on the instability of the national leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. He stated that the State House of Assembly is fully in support of the decision of the Governor, Sheriff Oborowore, and other stakeholders to join the ruling party.
On this note, I wish to inform this Honorable House that I have received 22 letters, including mine, of notification of change of membership from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the APC by all the 22 members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressive Congress, APC. The defection by the 22 honorable members is hinged on the instability of the national leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the factionalization of the South-South Zonal ESCO, which has resulted in division within the PDP. The defection is also in line with Section 109 Sub 1. By this action, the membership of the Delta State House of Assembly is now 100% APC.
Earlier, the Speaker, Emomotimi, presented a letter from the Governor for a law to repeal the College of Education Warri, Law 2008, Delta State College of Education, Mosoga, Law 2016, and enact the Delta State College of Education Law 2025.
It will be recalled that the College of Education Warri and Delta State College of Education Mosoga were established by the states with a view to creating state-owned institutions that provide accessible courses of learning for all individuals, with the goal of producing qualified graduates and non-graduate teachers in education and related studies. However, in responses to the challenges and evolving demands of contemporary education, it has become to repeal the existing colleges of education laws in the state and establish a uniform framework for the state-owned colleges of education.
The House adjourned plenary to Wednesday, May 7, 2025. In Asaba, Godfrey Nzekwe, NTA News.
We'll take a break for some messages. The bulletin continues shortly.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts the activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
You're watching Parliamentary News on NTA Parliament. Remember, you can follow this newscast and other programs on the social media platforms displayed on the screen. The House of Representatives has passed a resolution urging the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to make cancer screening free in the country to facilitate early detection and treatment. Adopting a motion by Representative Aderemi Oseni, the House expressed concern that the cost of cancer treatments is becoming unaffordable, especially for low-income families who have patients battling the scourge. The House therefore mandates its Committee on Healthcare Services to liaise with the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to improve access to cancer care and reduce the financial burden on patients.
The rising burden of cancer is causing a shortage of funding for cancer control, with public financing being considered the most appropriate, sustainable, and equitable solution to fund that aspect of healthcare to ameliorate the suffering of patients with cancer.
Mandate the Committee on Healthcare Services, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and other relevant agencies, to establish a mechanism for the federal government to provide subsidies for cancer treatments, related drugs, and screening.
Talking about treatment here, I want to add the prayer that federal government should make screening free because of this early detection we are talking about. This will enable people to always go for a screening exercise.
If anybody gets to the centers that are available, you find out that Nigerians are on a very long queue, very, very long queue. Sometimes treatment that should have been taken in 3 weeks, you could have it in 9 months, 6 months. And as we speak, the radiation therapy machines are not even available. You have just one at the National Hospital. The next place you can be referred to is Lagos or Calabar.
Kogi State House of Assembly has urged the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, to reopen its Okene office to regulate alleged drug peddling in the area. This followed a motion of urgent public importance raised on the floor of the House by the Majority Leader, Dr. Suleiman Abdulrazak. Jacob Sani reports on this and other matters deliberated upon at plenary.
Member representing Okene 1 recalls that years ago, some coordinated armed men attacked the NDLEA office in Okene, and since then, the office has been closed down. He observes that the absence of NDLEA in the area has created a soft ground for drug trafficking.
That the House issued its resolution requesting the State Commandant of National
meeting the release of illegal drug activities in the zone as soon as possible.
His colleagues say the motion is timely due to the increasing rate of drug victims, especially among youths.
The closure of that particular office there will lead to many things, and so it's a very necessary motion and prayer for us this time, and I think we will do justice to it.
The House also received a letter urging the House to write a commendation letter to Major General Arema Akerediola.
I bring to the attention of this honorable House the exemplary act of Major General Arema Akerediola, the Chief Logistics at the Nigerian headquarters and the proud son of Ogori. House to note that in 2024, through his strategic influence and quiet patriotism, the Nigerian Army undertook and completed the construction of and ascertain of a 1.6-kilometer access road linking the community comprehensive high school Ogori to the township road network.
Report on House Standing Committee on Special Duties, Legislative Compliance, Government House Administration and Governor's Office during the oversight in April 2025 was also presented to the House. Meanwhile, the House are resolved to invite the head of social investment to appear before it with necessary document for cross-examination over her credentials.
The clerk will communicate to her on inviting her to this House chamber, and it's going to be a committee of the whole of us.
A bill on Kogi State Police on substance abuse was presented for first reading, and thereafter the House adjourned to another legislative day. Jacob Sani, NTA News.
Now let's go to Lomé, capital of Togo, where the delocalized meeting of the Joint Committee on Infrastructure, Energy and Mines, Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources of the ECOWAS Parliament is underway. ECOWAS Parliament correspondent Mohamed Rabiu Ali reports that the high cost of air transport within the sub-region tops the agenda, as the 6th legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament describes it as a major obstacle to free movement and regional integration.
Statistics indicate that West Africa accounts for 54% of the air traffic recorded in the region, with no fewer than 40 international airports, including that of Iyadema in Lomé and Murtala Mohammed in Lagos, which are veritable hubs. These airports contribute financially to state budgets in several ways, with taxes which made air tickets cost-effective within the ECOWAS region. This meeting with the theme, Air Transport as a Means of Integration for West African People, a strategy for reducing airline ticket costs, brought together regional stakeholders and experts to discuss the way forward.
La conférence des chefs d'État et de gouvernement lors de son 65e sommet.
Exorbitant cost of air tickets was indicated as one of the constraints to regional integration. As a matter of fact, the cost of air tickets in West Africa is the most exorbitant compared to other regions of the world.
Par les États membres de la CEDEAO, dont la date de démarrage.
First concern is to align with the principles of the International Organization for Aviation in terms of how to calculate tariffs and taxes, how to eliminate discrimination between users.
Enregistré dans la région avec pas moins de 40 aéroports internationaux.
Together, let us commit ourselves to working towards a more efficient regional aviation system, serving integration and development of our community and making significant progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals.
Members of the Parliament agreed that to achieve the objectives of the third pillar of ECOWAS Vision 2050, economic integration and interconnectivity must be taken to a viable and sustainable solutions for more accessible regional air transport. Mohamed Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
That concludes the bulletin at this time. I am Stella Inameti. Good evening.